Okay, I'm just bopping along to the song in my head, and I think I'm good. Hopefully, the people that are on YouTube or on Facebook can see and hear me. And so like I said, let's get this party started. Can y'all believe it is almost Thanksgiving? What happened? More importantly, what happened to the warm weather? I know I grew up in Michigan, but this is getting a little scary, y'all. It's getting cold. I'm not built for this life anymore. I'm not. I'm not. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to get into some questions. I'm trying to share my screen. Let's see what happens. And
Hey Candace,
yes.
I took my test today.
And
And so state I just needed five more right, and then the national two more right. So I'm
oh,
getting
you're so
closer.
close, Miss Stacy.
I've
You
been
are
trying.
so close. Let me share my screen and then we will talk about it because dude, share screen, cable, hopefully now. Okay, you all have got that. I've got this. I can put this here. I really wish it wouldn't move stuff around when I did stuff. And then I got this here. Oh, come on. So I will say, I'm so glad you're so close. But what I want to say is, I know you all have heard my saga of how I'm helping my friend's daughter learn Algebra 2 because apparently I smoke crack. And y'all, I have forgotten, parabolas and the rules of exponents. I'm like, I don't know. But all this is to say, and how it relates to you all, is I have been studying in a different manner. I have been using this program called GoodNotes. And I want to show it to you really quickly, not because I'm getting paid by GoodNotes, but it is transforming how I'm even studying for my Michigan exam, which, Amy, I have not signed up for yet, but that's okay. I will get there. So, what happens, and just kind of showing you now, this is the information for the Algebra 2, right? But when I'm learning something, so the she had to learn how to transform functions. I was like, I don't know what that means. So what I do is these are screenshots, but I found screenshots I liked. I found YouTube videos I liked. So these are screenshots of that. But then I went through and I'm creating my own little like cheat sheets on each topic. And I know that I have cheat sheets and you have cheat sheets, but what I'm finding is I go back to it and I fill in little things. So like when you see something colored in, I might fill that back in. Or, I can, if I want to, I can say, oh, I really like how I wrote out like this piece right here. And then I press copy. And then I can say, you know what? I really want that on this page. And then if it's going to do it, doop, no, really. There we go. And then I can paste it and boom, it's right there. That's not what I want there. So if you are needing a way to study, then I would suggest that. Oh, wait, I don't know what it's trying to do because I'm sharing my screen, but still. Does that kind of make sense? Does that make sense at all? Hopefully so. But think about it. If you have an iPad or some kind of tablet and you're needing a better way to study, try that.
Can I
Yeah.
use my computer?
You actually can use your computer. You absolutely can use that computer. So that's cool too. Hmm. Right.
Good. That's awesome.
Good. Good, good, good. All right. So again, I am not, it's called Good Notes. I just wanted to show you all that it's called Good Notes and I love it. I've often used it before, but I didn't know exactly how, like just the ability to go in, add notes, add pages, add little things, highlight and color. It is making it so you just can organize your notes and think things a little bit differently. And then sometimes people say, oh, I've been told to rewrite my notes. Well, now you can rewrite your notes and it's right there. You just back and forth. So, all right, let's get started with number 37.
Hi, Candice. Nice to
Hello.
see a minute from you. How are you?
I am good. How are you? What's going on?
So I just passed my
You
exam today.
Yay! Oh, I've got to share my sound so we can hear it. You have been working so hard for this song, so let's
Thank
go
you.
with
There we go.
boom, boom, boom.
Good job, good job. Good job, good job. T-double-O-D-J-O-B. Good job, good job.
Okay,
Thank
and
you.
our favorite.
My money don't jiggle, jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle, wiggle, for sure.
It is the best holiday gift ever. Yeah.
Yes. And thank you, Amy, because we've been working together and she reminded me to join your team, the Zoom now.
Yay! I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah. And thank you, Candice. I will remember you all the time, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, look, you
Yes.
can always come in and say hi whenever you want, and including once you get licensed, if you need help with something, pop in
course.
towards the end of the stream. And that's for everybody. Once you all get licensed, if you come towards the end of the stream, I don't mind answering I'm new to the business, help me, Candice questions. Like, how do I get started? So I'm so proud of you. Yay.
Thank you. So I tell you, good evening. I had a long day.
Oh, well, yes. Go rest. I'm so
I
proud
wish
of
the
you.
best
One
of luck
question.
to everybody. Yes.
Was it worth it? Was it worth all the studying?
Yes. I will be honest with you. I studied very hard.
It's worth it if she starts making $5 million a year.
With all of
Come
the
on,
studying.
Candice. No, seriously, Candice. No, serious. $5 million.
Everybody's listening.
It's okay that everybody's listening. Your group has to be 3% of the top sellers.
There's no reason why they can't be. They should be, as much as you're studying. I mean, it's all about your knowledge, and it's this type of determination for anybody out there getting started. A lot of people get into real estate, but not everybody has the determination to stay in it,
To do it.
get to that success level. And the fact that you've done it, you said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be successful. That is the difference when I'm coaching between those agents that fade away after a couple months because they didn't have that first sale, or they are like, no, I can do it. And I see that every time. So when you are this determined and you're this strong-willed, I know you're going to be successful. And I claim more than 5 million a year for you, for all of you. You're going to be looking like Selling Sunset in your fancy outfits. That's what I say.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So there you go.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Now let's get down to some real estate questions. I love it when people pass. All right. Number 37. This is the same exam we've been working on.
Hey, Candice,
Yes, ma'am.
can you make it a little bigger, please?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Is that big enough? Yay.
Yes, that's perfect.
Perfect. Thanks. Okay. A restriction in the deed says you cannot run a business out of your home. The zoning ordinance says you can. Which of the following is true? A, you cannot run a business out of your home. B, you can run a business out of your home. C, you can run a business out of your home if you get the town to give you a special permit. Or D, the deed restriction is invalid because it is against the public interest. What are we thinking? Any thoughts? Okay, we got an A. Amy says A. A is for Amy. A is for Apple. Kavani,
I
hey,
guess I was
Kavani.
thinking, I was thinking it's because if you have like 2 restrictions, you take the most strict one.
Yes, the most restrictive restriction restricts. Love it. So, yes, our answer is our most restriction. Helps if I can get the words out. The most restrictive restriction restricts. So that makes our answer. Oh, then we can see it there. It makes our answer A. You cannot run a business out of your home. Although it is good to remember this idea of a special use permit. It's similar, well, it's along those same lines. Remember, a special use permit, the zoning or the zoning already says you can do something. So if it was going to be an answer of a special use permit, they could say, hey, this is residential, but we'll allow daycares. You can have daycares in this residential area. You just need to come to us and get the permit before it can be done. So that is a really good, it's close, but it's not quite the right answer for C. Okay. 38. The loss of a right to enforce a deed restriction is called. The loss of a right to enforce a deed restriction is called, I like this one, A, prescriptive rights, B, adverse possession, C, escheat, or D, laches. Laches? I think somebody should name their child Laches. My name is Laches. I don't know how you really say it, but whichever. Anybody? Well, I'll start by eliminating. I know the answer is not adverse possession. We know with adverse possession, we'd be claiming ownership. I could spell ownership, that'd be cool too. Ownership, but you have to prove ocean. Remember, you've got to prove that your use was open, continuous, exclusive, adverse, and notorious. So it's not that, right? Escheat, I can eliminate because I know escheat is if you die intestate and you have no heirs, then it goes, your property goes to the state. So now we've got Caroline saying prescriptive rights, and we got our D answer, laches. Does anybody know what, if the answer is A, prescriptive rights, then what is D, laches? Do we know that word? Hey, Trix.
I think it's like when you lose a right because you waited too long.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that is it. Our answer is laches. It's very, very similar to estoppel or like you, well, it's a doctrine like estoppel. So it's something you can claim. So if I tried to sue you over something I said 20 years ago, if there's no statute of limitations, if the law doesn't already say, look, we need you to make this claim within a certain amount of time, if there's no statute of limitations, then you can make the claim for laches, which is however you say it, laches, sachet, shante. Okay, sorry. But laches, which says, look, you waited too long. So very good, Amy. Our answer is laches. Does that make sense to everybody, or do we need to cover it some more without me busting into song? Okay,
No,
that's
that
fine.
makes sense.
I'm gonna continue to bust out in song. It's just how I am. Okay. 39. The assignment of costs between the buyer and the seller at the closing is called. The assignment of costs between the buyer and the seller at the closing is called A, finishing fees, B, proration, C, closing accounting, or D, real estate settlement and procedures. What you thinking? Well, I'm going to eliminate D.
I'm going to take a guess and say A.
Okay, you're going to guess A. So I'm going to go back here. This is not it because it does sound like RESPA though, right? The Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. And that has to do, you know, with TRID, which is Truth in Lending, RESPA, Real Estate Integrated Disclosure. So that's not it. I think you all know it's not closing accounting. So the question becomes, is it proration or is it finishing fees? So Kivani said B, Amy said B, Mariel, you said C, but we already know that's not right. And survey says our answer, in fact, is actually prorations. It is prorations. And the reason it is because the assignment of costs is a really fancy way of saying how do you split or who pays what. It's just a fancy way of saying that. And you all know I like to draw out my little line and say this is 1/1 and then this is 12/31 and some of it is owned by the seller and some of it is owned by the buyer, and then you split it. That's going to be our prorations. And remember, when you're doing your test, you need to know, is it 360 days or 365 days? And ask who gets the day of closing. So there we go. Nice job, ladies. Caroline, you don't have a long way to go. There's a lot of information here. So, you know, you knew it wasn't C or D, so we just got it down to 1, and it's going to come. I have faith. All right, number 40. How many acres does a section contain? Oh, man. I forgot, y'all. I ordered T-shirts. I ordered a T-shirt that says 43,560 across the chest. It's just the number. Like, you know, people who run marathons or like, you know, blah, blah. I did one that just says 43,560. I just want to see if anybody will stop me and be like, hey, that's the number of square feet in an acre. But you want one? Okay, I'm going to wear it on Friday so you can see it. But yes, I can send you one, right? So you can see it. I'll wear it on Friday. But you all have told me that the answer in the chat is A. 640 acres in a section. How many sections in a township? How many sections
36.
in 36. Look at y'all. And how many feet in a mile? Ooh. 5
528.
There you go. 5 tomatoes. 5,280 feet in a mile. Love it. Okay. 41. A deed that provides warranties only for the duration of the grantor's ownership. So we know that's important. Only for the duration of the grantor's ownership is called A, general warranty deed, B, special warranty deed, C, quitclaim deed, or D, grantor's deed. Bonus points if you all can tell me what Uncle Ray's learning acronym was. Does anybody remember? To tell us like the order of strength, which one comes first. It covers everything. And then the next one covers only when the grantor owned it. And then you have, hey, we're not really giving any promises. I just own it and I'm giving it to you. And then we have, I'm not even saying that I own it. I'm just giving it to you. Right. And it was good students bring, supposed to be an N, quality, which stands for the general warranty or just the warranty deed, the special warranty deed, the bargain and sale deed, and the quitclaim deed. Hopefully that sounds familiar. Hey, Kavani, I see you with that answer. Beck 8009, you passed on your first try. You passed on your first try. That is, I mean, I just have to do that again. Because you passed the first time. I love it.
The champ is here. The champ.
I love that so much. And you get your songs.
Good job, good job. Good job, good job. G-double-O-D-J-O-B. Good job, good job.
And
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure.
that's 2 people passing today. And you passed on the first time. Score. I'm so proud of you, Beck. And I mean, you earned it. You worked for it. I hope that I was some help to you. And again, if you have any questions or you even want to share a story about, being a brand new agent, you know where to find us, because hearing those stories of what's going on with you, I think is going to help people just like motivate us to keep on going. So I am so proud of you. Mwah. Ah, 2 people. Yay. All right. That's so cool. Yay. Ah, makes me what? I was gonna say it makes it a happy Monday, but today's not Monday. Today's not Monday. No, it's not, but I just love it. Yay. So going back to 41, although now I'm like all giddy, we know our answer is I'm just so happy for that. Like it's just big cheese over here. Our answer is special warranty deed, because we know it's that only for the duration of the grantor's ownership. If it was, hey, we'll cover everything, it would be the general warranty deed. Right? And remember, if it's a quit claim deed, you're not even saying that you own it. We would use that quit claim deed if we wanted to get rid of a lien on a property. Or maybe I just want to give my interest. Me, my brother, and my sister own, a property. And I'm like, I can't stand you to go on somewhere and y'all can just have it. I could quit claim them my interest if I wanted to. So there you go. Oh, I'm just still so happy. That makes me happy. All right, 42. If the seller paid taxes in advance for the whole year, and then he sells the house on July 1st, which of the following is true? Okay, so this is that proration thing we were talking about. So we draw a line, and we know they're paid. Boop, boop, doop, doop, doop. In full. So this seller paid for the whole year, but then they sold the house July 1st. This would be the seller, and then you got the buyer owns it from here to here. What would be fair? And I see y'all being geniuses telling me the answer I want to see. The grantor gets a credit and the grantee gets a debit. We know our answer is A, and this is going to be for the same amount. So that seller might say, oh, I'm supposed to get $2,000 back. So it would be a $2,000 seller credit. And we got to know who's paying it. So it would be a $2,000 buyer debit. So it's the same amount. You all are rocking this. 43. A deed is often used to clear up a cloud. A deed often used to clear up a cloud on the title is. Hey, we just talked about this. A deed often used to clear up a cloud on title. Somebody's thinking it's dirty. Is it A, a trust deed, B, a referee's deed, C, a special warranty deed, or D, a quitclaim deed? Every single one of you said D, a quitclaim deed, and you all are perfection. All right. Number 44. The act of recording a deed provides or accomplishes what? The act of recording a deed provides or accomplishes, is it A, actual notice of ownership, B, constructive notice of ownership, C, proof of ownership, or D, transfer of ownership? All right, D, you said the answer is D. She's on my YouTube. So hello. Hello. We got one person saying transfer of ownership. I think Cavani and Caroline said the answer is constructive notice. And Mariel, you said it is transfer of ownership. Okay, we're in a tie. We are in a tie. I think, Amy, you are going to have to settle this tie for us. Amy, you did not settle the tie. You said proof of ownership. Amy, that is the exact.
No, I said B.
Oh, you said B. Ha 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 ha. I was testing you to make sure you know your Okay, you said 3. And D, you said the answer. That was for the last question. My bad, D. Then she said B too. So that means that we have agreement. We are unanimous that yes, constructive ownership. Love it. Remember that proof of ownership and transfer of ownership would be with the deed. And then actual notice would be, telling or giving it to somebody. Love it. Okay. Which of the following is not a form of voluntary alienation? Which of the forming is... Get that tongue together, Candace. Which of the following is not a form of voluntary alienation? So that means 3 are going to be voluntary. And 1 could be involuntary. Assuming the word they choose is a type of alienation. And we know alienation is to give away. To like get yourself away from it. All right. D, I think this time you're telling me the answer is D. All right. Amy's giving me a D. Stacy's giving me a D. Amy's giving me a D. Muriel, you're giving me a D, 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 D. And the answer is D. I can't play the song anymore. I can't play Under the Sea anymore. Boo. But yes, our answer is D. I'm going to come up with a new D song. It is forfeiture. We all know if you give something away, you chose to. If it's a sale, then okay. But what is dedication? I mean, dedication, obviously it's a form of voluntary alienation, but what is it? What is dedication? Anybody? All right. Well, just so you all know, it's when you give like a person gives property to the state or to the government. That's what that is. So there you go. 46. You have just lost a large portion of the hill you live on due to a sudden mudslide. You are the victim of. Call 1-800. I need an attorney. You have just lost a large portion of the hill you live on due to a sudden mudslide. Who are you going to sue? Mother Nature? You are a victim of A, erosion, B, avulsion, C, escheat, or D, forfeiture.
Avulsion.
All right, we got an avulsion. We know it's not a street. We just talked about that. That's if you die intestate and you have no heirs, it goes to the state. We know it's not forfeiture. We just had that question. And what's the difference? Can anybody tell me the difference between avulsion and erosion? Because it is not erosion. What's the difference between avulsion and erosion? Anybody, anybody, anybody? What is the difference?
Isn't avulsion like you tear away the land, and erosion is like, I don't know how to explain it. It's
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Erosion is slow or
slow.
gradual.
Yes, yes.
And then this one is sudden. And I like to say avulsion, it kind of sounds like that moment right before you throw up. Like you're like, avulsion. Like it's just all of a sudden, it's coming. You're sick, you're sick, you're sick. And then boom, it hits you. Or like when you have a sinkhole, 1 minute you're there, the next minute you're not. So very good, avulsion. All right, look, I think we have the exact same answer choices for the next question. So let's see what we got. A religious group was given property for use in building a church. Instead, they leased the property out to raise money for their missionary work. Okay, I mean, at least they're trying to do something good. The group loses the property for violation of the deed condition through a process called avulsion. Well, we know it's not that. Escheat, again, we know it's not that. So by elimination, we've gotten it down to foreclosure or forfeiture. All right, Mariel's telling me D. Caroline's telling me D. We like D. Who let the dogs out? And it's D, of course. That is our forfeiture. 48. The process by which multiple owners can accumulate the statutory time necessary to claim adverse possession or a prescriptive easement is called. The process by which multiple owners can accumulate the statutory time necessary to claim adverse possession or a prescriptive easement is called A, accumulation, B, accretion, C, tacking, or D, notorious possession. I don't know why, but notorious possession makes me think about the notorious B.O.G. Notorious. But it's not, it would be adverse possession. And then notorious is one of the things you have to claim in adverse possession. Very tricky trying to stick those two words together, but Notorious B.I.G. is a rapper, was a rapper. Adverse possession is if you're claiming ownership of somebody's land. And then notorious is one of the qualifications. You all have heard me say before, it is very helpful if you go in and you figure out, hey, do I know where these words fit? Like what chapter? Or what my the instructor Cynthia used to say, what bucket does it go in? What does it have to do with? And accretion is not the answer. Accretion is the opposite of erosion. Did I spell that right? Yes. If this is the gradual losing, then accretion is the gradual adding of land. It's not accretion. So now we're down to accumulation and tacking. All right. And yes, our answer is C, tacking. It is tacking. In my mind, when I think of it, I see the word tackling, and it's like you added people to a pile of like football players. I don't know. You all know my brain does not work in normal ways. But yes, our answer is C, tacking. We love it. Nice job. All right, 49. If you die intestate, without a will, if you die intestate, the law distributes your assets according to the laws of descent, inheritance, probate, or surrogacy. So it's like there is a phrase here that you'll hear. Sorry, you hear all the time. It's like laws of blank. Is it the laws of descent, the laws of inheritance, the laws of probate, or the laws of surrogacy? I hate to break it to you, but it is in fact not D. Okay, we got a C. We got it goes through the court. Caroline, are you saying, and Mariel, are you all saying C?
Yes,
C, C, 49, C. Now, I think tacking D, you've never heard of the term tacking, and I think you're telling me the answer is B, inheritance, for 49, I think. All right, you said C, it goes through the court, but I hate to tell it to you all.
Houston, we have a problem.
The laws of descent. It's called the laws of descent. Right, the laws of descent. Now, probate is a thing. Probate is the process that your stuff goes through when somebody dies to figure out what goes where. But the laws are the laws of descent. All right. It's okay. This is not one of those things where I think you all had better know this. This is just a good reason to go over the vocab. Well, inheritance is what you inherit. Like it's the item that you're inheriting or the things that you're inheriting. Surrogacy is surrogacy. And then probate is that process of things that you go through. So yes, it is laws of descent. Yeah, it's okay. We learned something. And that is why we do this. If you all are walking away from these things and you haven't learned something, and I don't expect it all to stay in your heads forever, but as long as you've learned something, then that is one step closer to passing. All right. So 50. The court that handles wills is called. The court that handles wills is called inheritance court, civil court, surrogates court, or devisees court. Well, okay. I'm going to help you all by eliminating one of them. It is not devisees court. Remember, a device is when you get something through a will. So it's not devisees court. It is, in fact, D, not civil court. What are we thinking? This one, now, y'all, the only reason I know this one is because I've seen this like once or twice in questions before. And I'm talking about once or twice in the course of me being in real estate for 20 years. Like, this is not even something I teach in my real estate classes when I'm the teacher. And my students will tell you I teach a lot of extra vocab. I mean, I teach a lot of vocab. And this isn't something I go over. This is surrogates court. This is one of those things you see it and you would just guess it. You know what, Marilla? I'm like, sometimes they ask us stuff and I'm like, we are not attorneys. We did not need to know that. But okay, fine. I'm going to pack it in the back of my head and keep on rolling. Sometimes that is just literally the best thing that you can do is just say, thanks for the information. I'm out. Grab some water here. 51. You sign an option agreement to purchase some land while a zoning change is being sought. Which of the following is true? You sign an option agreement to purchase some land while a zoning change is being sought. So somebody is seeking, somebody's looking to change the zoning here. Which of the following is true, which means 1 is going to be true and 3 of these are going to be false. So is it A, you must purchase the land? Is it B, you must purchase the land if the zoning change is granted? Is it C, the seller must sell you the land? Or D, the seller must renegotiate with you if you want? Well, let me help y'all out. It ain't D. You could want it to be D, I guess, but it's not. Now, here's how I would do this. I see you must purchase the land and you must purchase the land here. And then this one is if the zoning change is granted. But here's the thing. You don't have to do anything. You can always back out of a contract. You might be in breach and then the courts might force you to do something. But yeah, you don't have to purchase the land. And you don't just get a window or doesn't change if the zoning is granted. So it's not A or B. But guess what? The seller does have to sell you the land. I mean, they have to sell you the land, which I guess is kind of, I mean, you don't have to buy it, but the seller does have, I mean, they contractually obligated to sell it to you. Does that make sense? Right. Okay. And even then I'm like, you don't have to sue them for, adverse possession, but C's the better answer here. Sue them for adverse possession. What am I talking about? Sue them for specific performance. Specific performance. Hello. All right. 52. A buyer wants to make sure everything is okay with the house he is buying. He most likely would give it up because there's never a guarantee. He most likely would, A, have every house he looks at inspected by a qualified home inspector. Okay, he rich. B, sign an option on a house he likes so that he doesn't lose it while it's inspected. C, put an inspection contingency clause in the sales contract. Or D, not sign the contract until the house is inspected. I'm going to claim foul on this question because different states buy houses in different ways. In some states, you do get it inspected before you get it under contract. Some states, like North Carolina, we don't put inspection contingencies in our clauses because we have due diligence, which is kind of like an option to get out of something. I mean, I don't really love this question, but if I kind of think about it, not knowing all the details to all these different states, I wouldn't say it's D. I mean, because that's just how it works in some states. I would probably say our answer is C. I mean, putting an option on the house, you're going to lose money. If you put an option on this house every time, you're going to lose money. And you're not going to have every house inspected. And I wouldn't tell you to not sign the contract and because then they could sell it to somebody else. I think our best answer is C. But I don't know. I'm going with C. Does anybody disagree with C? Anybody thinking something different? I'm crazy now. I could get this one wrong. All right, let's see. 52. Oh, I got to scroll. Hey, I'm right. I got it right. I got it right. Okay. Yes. I mean, you all can see why my thoughts were on this one. Again, I would say, and I know this might be just a me problem, but I got to take everything I know about all these different states or just even my own state and be like, okay, we're just talking about contracts in general. We're not talking about a specific contract, just what makes the most sense with general information. See. Okay, 53. The parole evidence rule generally says that A, written contracts take precedence over oral contracts. B, oral contracts take precedence over written contracts. C, written contracts can be modified by oral contracts. Or D, real estate sales contracts may be oral or in writing. Well, we know it's not D because of the statute of frauds. Right? They have to be in writing. It's a transfer of interest in real estate. And yeah, this whole written contract can be modified by oral contracts. I don't think so. And oral contracts take precedence over written contracts. Yeah, no. I think A, for Amy and everybody else that said it, including you, D, yes, our answer is A. Our written contracts take precedence over oral contracts. But y'all knew that even before you got into real estate school. You knew this. All right. 54. Forcing a buyer to go through with a property purchase that he does not want is to do A. Forcing a buyer to go through a property purchase that he does not want to do is A, novation. B, an assignment. C, a suit for compensatory damages. Or D, a suit for specific performance. All right, we got D's, we got D's, we got D's. Hey, Mary. Mary, did you email me? I need you to email me, Miss Mary. Don't forget to email me. It is... All right, it's there, right there. All right, sue for specific performance. Look at you all being geniuses. Yes, our answer is C, a suit for specific performance. This is when you sue somebody and say, hey, judge, because I think suing somebody is basically tattling. Judge, they were supposed to do something and they didn't do it. I need you to force them to do it for me. That's specific performance. You have to do whatever you said, specifically what you said you were going to do in that contract. Boom. All right, 55. A contract for the sale of property is said to be. A contract for the sale of property is said to be A, executed, B, executory until the closing, C, executory until the closing upon where it is executed, or D, executed until closing upon where it is executory. There's a lot of F's. I feel like I'm clearing my throat. Let me clear my throat. Good, you, Mary. Things are good, Mary. I am studying. I'm studying to take the state exam. So I know you're in Michigan. I wanted to make sure I got with you, and especially during the holidays when I've got a little bit more free time, make sure we get together. So, all right, we got C, we got C, we got C, we got C, and we know that.
I like carrots, and you should too. It goes crunch, 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 and it's good for you. We like carrots, and you should too. It goes crunch, crunch, crunch.
I just can't even look at a carrot anymore and not think of this song. So I'm just saying, it's just such a great song. It really is. All right, we already know. I know y'all know. Our answer is C. Executory until the closing upon where it is executed. Now, B and C are both close, but C is the better answer. All right, it's the better answer. We love it. Yes, it does get okay. And you all in Zoom can't see. She said she's studying too, but getting bored with it, which isn't good. Look, I get bored with it too. I love real estate and I get bored with this studying. So yes, I would love to study with you. We get together, maybe have some hot chocolate. If it's before, depending where you are in Michigan, might have to go get some cider mill donuts. I don't know, because those are delicious. 56. Joe agrees to buy Sally's house. When Joe can't come up with the money, Tim agrees to take over the contract and buy Sally's house under the same terms. This is called Joe is going to buy Sally's house. Joe can't come up with the money, so then Tim says, I'll take over the contract and buy Sally's house under the same terms. This is called, what are you thinking? All right. Amy says B. Caroline says B. Stacy says B. We got a B. Bees in the trap. Bees in the trap. Bees in the trap. Bees in the trap. What are we thinking? B. Novation. I think it's a novation too. I'm going with novation. Yay! Going with novation. I would tell you that that's what they wanted, but yeah, I mean, I know it's not mutual agreement. I don't have the answer key for those. The answer key just skips over this. I know it's not a delegation, but an assignment means you're just assigning usually part of something, the novation. I mean, it's almost like a whole new thing there. So I'm going with B, novation as well. All right. 57. Is that, but it means new contract. Yeah, so you could replace a contract, completely replace a person or the contract. To me, if I was writing the test, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. Novation, assignment, and assumption. I don't think it's fair if they're comparing the three words to ask you, because to me they seem so close unless I start getting into the legal fancy of it. I feel like since you're replacing a brand new person, we're going with novation. Because when I look at things, sometimes it says novation is replacing all the parties in the contract, or it's replacing a contract for a contract. And when you assign, you usually are assigning, you know, some of the duties. So I think that's where I'm going with. I just don't think it's fair to, I think when I think of assumption, I think of loans, and it gets, to me, it gets weird. I think it's B. We're going with B. I wish I had, I'm gonna double check that it's just not out of order. Let's see. Do I have an answer? No, I do not. Just triple checking. 55. Yep, it jumps from 55 to 78. It's just missing a page. Make sure it's not at the back. Yeah, I got nothing. All right, we're going blind. Going in blind. 57. A landlord who was selling a building allows a tenant to stay until the building is sold. This is, you know what? I could ask Uncle Ray later. I'm going to ask him later. I'm going to look back at my notes. Ask Uncle Ray later just to triple confirm. A landlord who is selling a building allows a tenant to stay until the building is sold. This is A, an estate at sufferance, B, an estate at will, C, an estate for years, or D, a periodic estate. All right, 57, we got a periodic estate is what Mariel is saying. Kevani, you said B, an estate at will. Caroline, you said a periodic estate. Don't have anybody on YouTube's of the yet. As of yet, we got a D, we got a B, we got a B, estate at will. We got a D. Mary says D, it's a periodic estate. So let me say this. It is not a periodic estate, which would be an estate from period to period. Why? Because it's going to automatically renew. And this one, they're allowed to stay until the building is sold. So it's not going to automatically renew. All right. And I don't think the answer is an estate for years, because an estate for years is there's an exact start date and there's an exact end date. And we don't know what that date is. It's just until the building is sold. We don't know when it's going to get sold. And it's not an estate at sufferance, because estate at sufferance is when your lease ended and then you have the right to stay. But that's about the right to stay until you get the courts to kick you out. So yes, our answer is an estate at will. Boom, shakalaka laka, boom, boom. They confuse you? Well, Mary, I'm hoping that that kind of helped a little bit, but let's talk about it. I usually teach them as, you know what? That was here. That's good enough. We have an estate for years, which is also known as an estate for term. And that's going to be an exact start and end. And there's no auto renewal. You want to stay, you need a new contract. Then you have an estate from period to period. And this is when it automatically renews until one of them stops, until somebody gives notice. An estate at will has no exact start or end date. It's kind of like when your friend comes to visit. And then you got estate at sufferance. And a lot of us think of, hey, the landlord is suffering after a lease ends. So Mary, I don't know if that helps you, but that's kind of, or anybody, kind of think about it. We got our estate for years, our estate from period to period, our estate at will, our estate at sufferance, and we know all of these are non-freehold estates. Estate means you can live there. Non-freehold means non-ownership, otherwise known as a leasehold. All right. All right. Let's see. Where are we here? 58. A tenant's lease expires and the landlord does not give the tenant a new lease, but instead allows her to stay and collects rent from her every month. Which of the following is true? So 3 of these are going to be false, and 1 of these is going to be true. A tenant's lease expires, and the landlord does not give the tenant a new lease, but instead allows her to stay and collects rent from her every month. Which of the following is true? Is it an estate for years has become a periodic estate? Is it a periodic estate has become an estate for years? Is it a periodic estate has become an estate at will? Or an estate for years has become an estate at sufferance? Mary, you said what you remember is an estate of sufferance is a deadbeat tenant. Okay, I got you. All right, so 58, Mariel, you're saying it is A. An estate for years has become a periodic estate. All right. We got B, a periodic estate. So we got 1 estate for years is a periodic estate. C, you said, Caroline, C, a periodic estate has become an estate at will. And Mary, you said C. And then Trix, you said A. All right. What do we have here? Oop, making my screen go away. Come back, screen. Amy, Cavani, what are you thinking? Amy, you said C, a periodic estate has become an estate at will. And D, you said A. Okay. What do y'all like? Stacy, you said A. Okay, let's look at it. So let's take the ones you all did not choose. A periodic estate, one that automatically renews, becomes an estate for years. Well, it doesn't end with an estate for years because we don't have an exact date. So it can't be B. We like that. We know it's not D because this of estate at sufferance. No, he's collecting money. So is it that it was an estate for years has become a periodic estate, or a periodic estate has become an estate at will? So I think since it says the lease expired, we had a definite end date. And if we had a definite end date, it would be an estate for years has become a periodic estate. But I do get where it says a periodic estate has become an estate at will, because you could say, well, maybe it was just continuing, and then a periodic estate would have just continued, and then you could go and end at any time. I gotta go. Oh, this one's hard. An estate for years has become a period. I hate that I don't have an answer key for you. An estate for years has become a periodic estate. I think I like A, but I'm not sure. You also, a periodic estate has become an estate at will. Because it expired. I think it has to be an estate for years because the lease expires. If it was a periodic estate, the estate wouldn't expire. You just decided not to renew it. Ask Uncle Ray. Okay, y'all are like, Uncle Ray, Uncle Ray. Okay, what I'm gonna do is ask Uncle Ray. Where's my phone? We got to talk it into Uncle Ray. Okay, phone. You know, I need a new iPhone because this one acts stupid sometimes. But I just don't want to pay $1,500 for a new phone. It makes phone calls I can text. And that's how I know I'm old. So here we go. Turn up the volume. Turn up the volume. Turn up the volume. Okay. Hey, Uncle Ray, I'm doing a real estate practice exam. Here's the question. A tenant's lease expires and the landlord does not give the tenant a new lease, but instead allows her to stay and collects rent from her every month. Which of the following is true? Is it A, an estate for years has become a periodic estate? B, a periodic estate has become an estate for years? C, a periodic estate becomes an estate at will? Or D, an estate for years has become an estate at sufferance? And whichever the answer is, can you tell me if it's not A, why it's not A, and if it's not C, why it's not C?
Absolutely, Candace. All right, so let's walk through it together. In this scenario, you got a tenant whose original lease was for a fixed term. And now that the term has ended, the landlord's basically just letting them stay on and pay rent on a month-to-month basis. What that means is the original estate for years, which is just a fancy way of saying a lease with a definite end date, has turned into a periodic estate, which is basically a month-to-month tenancy. So the correct answer is A. Now, why is it not C, for instance? Well, an estate at will is a little different. That's more like a very flexible arrangement where either side can end it at any time without notice. In this situation, it's not quite at will because you're still paying rent on a regular cycle. It's got a predictable rhythm each month, which makes it a periodic tenancy rather than a pure at-will situation. And why not D? Well, an estate at sufferance is when the tenant stays without the landlord's permission after the lease ends, basically like a holdover tenant who's not supposed to be there. But here, the landlord is totally okay with the tenant staying and is accepting rent. So that's not sufferance. In short, it's A because you've moved from a fixed-term lease to a month-to-month setup, and that's the definition of a periodic estate. Let me know if you need anything else.
Woo, woo. Hey, look, no, you all are welcome. I had to ask on that one. You all know. So again, it was a little, I had to go back and forth, but for me, it was because this lease expired. And he did say it, that if it expires, it ends. I mean, tricky. I just feel like questions like this, we are not attorneys. I understand why they want us to understand these concepts, but that is so tricky. That is so tricky. Oh, Morel, you couldn't hear. I wonder why it is sometimes you can't hear and you can hear. What he basically said is our answer is A, because, let me try to say somewhat what he said. It's not an estate at will because the person is paying each month, right? The person is paying each month. And so it's not an estate at will. It's just going to each month a person pays and then they get to stay and then they pay and they get to stay and then they pay and they get to stay until they decide to end it. I thought it was easier, or for me, it made more sense because it expires. It had to be an estate for years. So yeah, we're going to work on, Maria, we're going to figure out why some days you can hear and some days you can't. But
no. Candace, I'm sorry. Do you mind to compare to the 57 with the 58? I think that's what I think it was a little confusion because, the state for a will.
So in this one, he's allowing the tenant to stay, but there's no money. There's nothing set in stone. It's just, it's, I can see where that gets confusing because you're like, well, the person is going to stay until the building is sold. And this one, I think what makes it, and again, not attorney, but I think it's because it's this staying and collects rent every month. Remember, and the best way I can do this without being an attorney is remember our statute of frauds says, hey, if you take money, like it doesn't have to be in writing to be a real lease. So I think when you take the money, you're expected, like you have to give notice that it's going to end. That is going to be my guess. I'm going to have to ask like an actual attorney who does this, but I think that's why, because the statute of frauds, if it has to be in writing if it's over a year, but it also has to do with this idea that if it's under a year and you're taking money, then it doesn't have to be in writing. It would still be legal. So I think it has something to do with that. I think. Right. Again, I'm on the fence of why are they asking us this question? We are not attorneys. Right. And to sum it up, to get to 60, before we get to 60, the fact that a lease, this is number 59, the fact that a lease of longer than a year must be in writing is a typical provision of the statute of frauds. Do you need to know what RESPA is, UCC, and the parole evidence rule? Yes, all very good terms to know for your exam. Remember RESPA. Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. So that says that's when that you can't take referral fees. You can't give referral fees to people who aren't licensed. It's young kids eat up boogers, glue, and dirt. You know, you have to, if there's a yield spread premium, it has to go back to the borrower. I mean, there's all those things there, but it has to do with closings. A UCC has to do with when things are sold, and we talk about UCC. You can put a lien on property, or you put a UCC paperwork on property if you install a piece of personal property as a fixture, but you want to tell the world, hey, this doesn't belong to the landowner, UCC 1. And of course, the parole evidence rule is talking about this idea that it has to, well, we just talked about this, that, you know, what's in writing is going to supersede what's oral. So there you go. It is C, statute of frauds. Look at y'all being geniuses. I know. Y'all are great. All right. This is just, again, the random questions that this was a, I went online, I put in real estate exam questions. Can I have ChatGPT make them up? Yes. And when this is done, I will. That'll be the next ones we do. But I just said PDF download free. So as to cover my not get sued self, Candace did not write these questions. She found them online, which is why I don't have an answer to, 58 through, what is it? I don't have answers to 56 through 77. So there's that. All right. Yes. And you know what, guys, as I get closer to my exam, I'll probably start going like an hour and a half because I get good studying in for you with you all too. So yeah. And if we need to do some math, let me know. If you need to reach me for anything, email me. And for those people who passed,
My money don't jiggle, jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle, wiggle, for sure.
We got to get a little jamming. So I will see you all Friday at 3. If you have specific questions, go ahead and email them to me beforehand and we'll talk about them. Bye, everybody.